fair warning. 3, 2, 1.
People in history, pay attention! We're losing all democracy! Wake up! Wake! People in history, pay attention! We're losing all democracy! Wake up!
Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. And stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, me, Marty, also known as PDawg Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the PDawg Knight Channel. It is Hump Day on the Morning Night Live. It's Wednesday, the 21st of October, 2020, and I have about 8 inches of snow. No Jeffrey Toobin jokes today. On the ground here in the lovely southern part of Minnesota, known as the Twin Cities Metro. But the nice thing is, I dug out my snowblower. I'm like, I literally 2 days ago, I was mowing my lawn, and then yesterday, I'm blowing snow off my driveway with a snowblower. So lucky me. So anyway, is Marty the original voice of the camel? No. Mike. Do you know what day it is? Do you know what day it is? Hump Day! I just like that. I think it's funny. Anyway, so obviously the title today is Imagine If They Lose, and you saw these lovely ladies, courtesy of Ian Miles Chong. Yes. Do you want to hear it one more time? Can we just do it one more time? I'm gonna play it one more time. I just am. Here we go. Here it is.
People in history.
Oh my God. Yes. If I would have seen this earlier, I would have used this to melt the snow in my driveway. Oh my gosh. That is so funny. Anyway, so obviously we're starting to see videos like this, people losing their freaking minds. You know, that the one up in the upper left hand corner, that's a new one to me, and I don't know, I didn't see this one until yesterday. And apparently this is some actress. What is her name? Oh, interesting. Stop tech censorship. Cool. This ranting actress claims that Trump supporters effing boxed her in on the freeway and cries that they were pointing at me and laughing at a Mexican. Now, I just think of her as I don't know who she is, Francis Raisa, or Francia Raisa. That's my sister's name, Francis. Anyway, Francia Raisa, apparently she looks just like some, run-of-the-mill white girl from the suburbs to me, but apparently has some Mexican heritage. I didn't know and really don't care, and I've never heard of her as an actress. But she, actress Francis Raisa claims Sunday, without evidence. I like how they're mocking the other news media who constantly use this without evidence thing. That supporters of President Donald Trump traveling to a rally boxed her in while she was driving on Interstate 405 in Southern California. I've driven on the 405 and wouldn't let her go around, then ridiculed her in the process. And here's her, you know, this is the new thing, the ranting chick in her car video, and this is her.
I was just on the 405.
And hang on. I'm going to do full screen here just so you can see it better. Here we go. I was just on the 405.
I got stuck in that stupid Trump rally.
Hang on, let me pause
And they fucking boxed me in. And they're pointing at me.
Yeah, let's just start.
I was just on the 405. And I got stuck in that stupid Trump rally. And they fucking boxed me in.
Oh, dear.
And they're pointing at me
They
and
boxed
laughing at me, saying, ha ha. And literally, I almost crashed.
Now, hold on
Because
a
they
second.
wouldn't
Hold on a second. So a whole bunch of people driving on the freeway on the 405. Now, if you've ever been on the 405 in Southern California, it's a fairly, it could be a busy freeway at times. In fact, you can be boxed in many times during the day because traffic jams are very, very common in Southern California on the 405. So I'm just thinking, you know, they boxed her in. Oh my gosh, this poor girl boxed in on the 405. Yes, that's never happened before. Let's listen to her a little bit here.
Almost crashed.
Almost crashed. Wow. Why did you almost crash? Were you not watching the car in front of you? I'm just curious.
Because they wouldn't let me out. I was trying to go around it. And they're literally, he was like, they were all stopping and going. They boxed me in on the fucking freeway.
Stopping and going, huh? There's a name for that. Oh yeah, traffic jam. Yeah.
I wanted to do was go around. And they were just being so violent. I could have crashed.
They were, wait, whoa. They were being so violent. Were they, okay, so in your traffic jam, when you were boxed in and couldn't go around, were they jumping out of the car and punching you? Did they have shotguns and blew out your back window? Did they, were they throwing axes at your front grill from the truck in front of you? How were they being violent? Anyway, let's finish this up.
I could have fucking crashed. It was so dangerous.
Oh,
and I
so
just don't understand why that's the country that y'all are supposedly wanting right now.
Wait. Oh. Well, no, I hate traffic jams. They need to do something about traffic jams. That's not the country I want. I hate traffic sucks. That's why I tend to work at places that are close to my house. Anyway.
Really? That's what makes America great?
Yeah,
that's fucked up. I could have fucking died right now. That was so fucking dangerous.
Oh,
pointing at me and laughing at a Mexican.
Oh, now, again, looks pretty like a pretty basic white girl to me. How do you know she's a Mexican when you're driving in a car? And how many Mexicans were in that Trump caravan? I'm curious. And it was so violent, so violent, pointing and laughing. That is the epitome of violence.
Oh, God, that was really fucking scary.
Oh, so scary. So scary. I can't. Oh, I don't want to hear it again.
I was just on the 405.
Stop. No, please don't tell me again. I really don't want to know. So this is kind of, the title of my stream today is, imagine if they lose, right? And so we read the articles yesterday about the people in Kansas who were getting those notes on their houses of how they better get better insurance. And then we've got the screaming harpies doing their videos in their cars, screaming at the top of their lungs. And then we also have, I got an article today that I just actually, when I thought of this title today. I didn't even see this article yet, but this article actually fits into exactly what we're doing. But before we get into the article, let me say good morning to everybody because people are rolling in. I got 38 people here already. That's awesome. Nice to see you. So first, let's say good morning to Jonas Pedersen, who was first and gets the bell, and the bell failed me. Oh my God, the bell failed me. It's going to ring any time now. I'm pretty sure. Hello, Bell. Bell. Or did it ring and I just didn't hear it? Uh-oh. Well, we're going to have some tech. Okay. I'm gonna have some anyway, also, the bell's coming, I promise. Also, good morning. I'll do the manual sounds until then. Ding. And then also, good morning to Black Hebrew Israelite. That's right. Who says, hey, people. Good morning, Donatella Slappafellow, my favorite name on the internet. Good morning, Maddie, my news chick. Also, good morning, Big Assassin 80, Mike Savage, Blarg, Select a Boy. Yeah, boy. I wish my sound effects worked. Also, good morning to Damn it, Chadwick Dupree, Damn it, Chadwick, Rolling Bear, Renee Mayette, Longfish 61, Purple Pill Perspective, Jesse Leon, Scotty Dubs. So I scroll down here. Fox P2, good morning. I said Renee Mayette already. Good morning. Simon Wolfwood, hello. Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadian. W.R. Costin, nice to see you back every once in a while. Good morning, Ebony Williams. Yes, that was terrible. Sean D.W., what's happening? Small Man, hey. Tyler F., Cindy Rochelle, Jesse Leon. I might have said Jesse already because I'm starting to see repeat names here. Also, I saw Scribe here somewhere. Good morning. I know you're there, Scribe. Dog Thrapple. Tarai Deos, what's happening? There's the Scribe. Johnny Hellcat, the first ever viewer of the Morning Night Live. And I think I got everybody that's been repeating. And, we do have our first donation of the day via Streamlabs from, who's it from? Oh, Black Hebrew Israelite. And I can't even do that other stupid sound effect because everything's going wrong with my technical stuff, but that's okay. Black Hebrew Israelite says, future cat ladies. Oh, let me just read it. Future cat ladies, because no man can take the smell of their fish taco. The smell. Oh, good God. I'm going to disavow, but I will read it. Future cat ladies, because no man can take the smell of their fish tacos. That's right. Repeal the 19th, especially anyone with gender studies degrees. That's right. Okay. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite. And you are the Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day so far. Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, Gunfox61. I see you there. Stabbing Joe Scarborough, Jonas Pedersen. Oh, I already said Jonas Pedersen. And Cynical Lindsay and anyone else who's rolling in. Good morning, everybody. So let's talk about the future. By the way, thank you, Angel Tibbs, Angel Tibbs, Christopher Rutherford. Okay. I don't have to imagine. Just wait until November. Oh, good Lord. I know. Necrosol Collins, Scribe Lights, Tyler F, Maddie, Cynical Lindsay, Cindy Rochelle, everyone who retweets the show. Share the that way. Share the stream, hit that share arrow, do all the stuff you do. And like and donations in the description down below. So I want to talk a little bit about the future and if and or when the election's over. Good morning, Smarty Bear, too. And if the outcome is not to their liking, or even if it is to their liking, I found this to be a very, very interesting article on American greatness. The Antifa industry at work. What the hell is that? That's new. Wait a minute. What the hell's going on here? Get Prime. I don't even know what that is. Did my account run out? And that's why well, what the hell happened to my my Streamlabs here. Hang on a second. Give me 1 second, folks. That's why I'm having technical difficulties. All right, we'll fix this later. Anyway, that's not what I'm going to do. All right, anyway, so at American Greatness, the Antifa industry at work, professional left-wing organizers planning for post-election chaos, promised to shut down the Capitol and engage in civil resistance. Yay. Good. When in 2008, then candidate Barack Obama's career as a community organizer was lampooned at the Republican National Convention, few understand what the words meant. Most sympathetic voices in the media stressed community, evoking images of soup kitchens, clinics, and shelters. Republicans had every reason to look more darkly at what this kind of work meant, and probably due to Obama's race, were inclined to associate the candidate's time organizing, quote unquote, in Chicago with New York radical demagogues and shakedown artists like Al Sharpton. That description was closer to the mark, but the full truth was deeper and considerably more sophisticated. Left-wing organizing is a robust intellectual universe. Thanks largely to talk radio, conservatives soon learned the name of Saul Alinsky and began to digest his now infamous Rules for Radicals. After several brilliant investigative pieces into Obama's time among left-wing organizing meccas like the Northwest Academy, Stanley Kurtz wrote the valuable Radical in Chief. Unfortunately for much of the public, the thread frayed shortly after the election that November. Emboldened by Democratic control of both houses of Congress, the newly elected Obama would use what he'd learned from Chicago activism to instigate and win battles on more pressing political issues. For those 8 years, the organizing ecosystem that would eventually erupt into Antifa and Black Lives Matter street violence and now direct action grew in strength, sophistication, and funding. Obama's own career in Chicago should have been kind of a clue. The former president served on the boards of Public Allies, the Woods Fund of Chicago, and the Joyce Foundation, which together distributed tens of millions of dollars to various local left-wing groups, some of which themselves were organizing for street-level direct action. Thank you, Gunfox61, who is now the superstar donor of the day from Streamlabs, who says, "You're about to watch a boomer moment, and Maddie, you have devil horns, not a halo." I think she has a halo. Wow, this whole thing's really bumming me out now. That means I have some other issues with Streamlabs here. I'll fix that during my little commercial when I get to it. Antifa. Now let's get back to this. Antifa, of course, is far more than an idea. Right, Joe? And even as ideas themselves can be serious threats with which it is necessary to contend, but it is also far more than just an organization. Even as it traces its origins to pre-war Germany, one might think of Antifa as a relatively new product line from a larger industry that has existed for decades. That industry is the giant ecosystem of left-wing direct action and organizing with its own history, pedagogy, and institutions, as well as tens of thousands of career professionals operating in the open and funded every bit as well as the state network of establishment conservative think tanks and magazines that tend to cluster along the Asila corridor. Writing at the American Mind last month, Michael Anton, author of The Stakes, America at Point of No Return, brought attention to a war game report issued by the Transition Integrity Project. Remember that? The group that kind of planned, they were simulating as opposed to stimulating. They were simulating election. I still want to say, well, if not as opposed to stimulating the erection. An odd ho group associated with George Soros-funded Democracy Integrity Project. Anton's widely read essay, The Coming Coup, was heavily discussed on social media and by conservative talk show hosts, including Dan Bongino, Mark Levin, Rush Limbaugh, and Glenn Beck. What conservatives found so alarming was that the Transition Integrity Project urged Trump opponents to wage a street fight, not a legal one, in the near certain event of a contested election. In other words, forces arrayed against the president's reelection should abandon the American political system and pin their hopes of election victory not on the Constitution-mandated quest for the most electoral votes, but upon the street mobilization and direct action capabilities of Antifa and the left's other professionally staffed organizing groups. You wonder why the leaders of the BLM, the organization, happen to be the three trained Marxists. This may be why. As a heavily contested election day approaches, it is crucial for both conservative activists and officials in law enforcement to understand that left-wing organizing for direct action and nonviolent, quote-unquote, civil disobedience is being planned by career organizing professionals working with well-funded interlocking organizations. Americans watching videos of Black Bloc activists tearing apart Portland, Seattle, or other cities are seeing the results of thousands of training sessions, budgets in the tens of millions, and a carefully mapped radicalization process as extensive as those used by Islamists or any other ideological on-ramp towards extremism. Now, remember yesterday, too, I kind of mentioned how... or at least I kind of discussed how they're engaging in the textbook definition of terrorism, right? They are using violence or threat of violence towards a political end. And it's not just random. I mean, in Portland especially, it's very organized. They're out, they choose their neighborhoods they're going to fuck up, and they go out and fuck it up. So, for tactical reasons, much of the expected actions will take place in heavily Democratic cities as well as in the nation's capital. Breitbart's Joel Pollack recently identified a document called, quote, Stopping the Coup, the 2020 guide, end quote, distributed by one such group, Shut Down DC. As he notes, it is described as an organizing how-to guide by the Disruption Project, seeking to use, in its words, uprising, resistance, and mass direct action. In other words, beating up people and breaking shit. By the way, good morning, Katie did skate, Rosivak, and Anna Lynn, and Michael Hatfield. Nice to see you here. So they plan to use those things in order to prevent President Trump from stealing the election. You know, there's another phrase that I'm getting tired of hearing too. And that phrase is voter suppression. How you constantly hear the people on the left, if you listen to the left-wing media, the Rachel Maddows and Don Lemons and anyone else in left-wing media, they keep talking about voter suppression. And I think one of their strategies is to get that into their mind that if Trump does win, just like in Georgia, they're going to claim it was voter suppression. Now, and I use Georgia just because Stacey Abrams still doesn't believe that she lost, even though she lost by 50,000 votes in Georgia in a very high turnout governor election. But when they say voter suppression, they don't mean like what's traditionally thought of as voter suppression, okay? Like poll tax, that's completely illegal, or having people, have people out there with guns daring people to come vote. That's not what they're talking about. What they're talking about when they say voter suppression is one, making you follow the rules is one of them. They consider that voter oppression. Or convincing someone to not vote for the candidate that they were thinking about voting for. They call that voter suppression, not just persuasion or, perhaps, politics. No, they call if you are trying to convince that person over there who's going to vote for your candidate to either vote for someone else or they just decide not to vote at all, that's not voter suppression. That's just they changed their mind. Okay. But anyway, you hear it constantly. You hear those words constantly. Anyway, the group's ambitions are greater than the November election, of course. Its members are not simply Democratic partisans. The Disruption Project urges its supporters to stand up and take action, i.e. violence, against the unjust system of racial capitalism, the heteropatriarchy, white supremacy, and settler colonialism. Its more immediate goals include an effort to, quote, dismantle the systems that uphold structural racism and win reparations for black folks, win some sort of repatriation of land to indigenous people, create an open U.S. border, and to end imperialism and a just transition out of a destructive economy. Now, that means they want to upend capitalism and give money to take money from. They want a French Revolution. It's almost that bad. They just want to go start killing all the people, and taking everything from the people who actually have built something, and give it to everybody else. I've been thinking about this. Their sudden love for socialism and Marxism too. And you really can't you can't ever implement any kind of socialist or Marxist system until the money's already been made, until the wealth's already been created. But as soon as you turn that system into a socialist or Marxist system, there's no one creating the wealth anymore. So it's like, oh yeah, it sounds great. You're going to just take all the rich people's money and tax them to death and take all their stuff and take their production. But then that's all you have. It's gone. It becomes, once you do that, it almost becomes a zero-sum game, because unless you can convince people to work towards your goals instead of their own goals, there's very little motivation. That's kind of what the capitalist system, as much as it may cause inequalities, it still allows people to rise their, be able to raise their own standard of living through their own efforts. And anyway, I'm not sure where I meant to go there, but anyway, continuing on, while Anton and others have been attacked by the New York Times for warning of a coup when reporting on scenarios laid out by groups like the Transition Integrity Project, these left-wing groups use the word far more liberally. Possibly due to polling, many, if not most, of these organizers have foreclosed the idea of a legitimate Trump victory. And thanks to a highly partisan and disciplined media, they have also foreclosed the possibility of voter fraud. Any legitimate objections or potential lawsuits challenging election law violations or seeking to identify alleged voter fraud will be seen as totalitarian election meddling. Now, have you been seeing that out there? That's kind of what they're that's exactly what they're saying. They're trying to say that, oh, no, see, if you think we're cheating because we have people gathering all these ballots that are filled out ahead of time, or we're going in and finding a whole nursing home, we're going to fill out their ballots for them, wink, wink. And you get caught with that voter fraud. Oh no, that is totalitarian election meddling. You are trying to suppress the votes of those people. You're trying to cheat, and probably there's some Russians involved too in your election meddling. That's how they do it. Did the big dog get his Discord in order? Yes. Gunfox, if you'd be so kind to throw the Discord link in the chat, that'd be great. I still haven't. Again, I'm having issues with Streamlabs right now, but thank you. Oh, hang on. Is Amy here? Amy in Connecticut, are you here? I don't see you in the chat yet. It's Amy Connecticut's birthday, but I don't see her here. Here, let me see. Hang on a second. Nope, she's not here yet. Well, remember when someone let me know when she walks in. Obviously, D.I. Frater Watcher sees it. Good morning, by the way. Let me know when Amy shows up. Also, good morning, Gamer Valine. How you doing? So anyway, in this understanding, any Trump victory will be treated as a coup. This is a new and radical thread that runs through similar documents and statements from anti-Trump partisans in left-wing organizations and media alike, but that's redundant. From more mainstream groups like the Transition Integrity Project to Antifa. A candidate being declared the projected victor, what was once a completely normal tradition of American election night drama, has been transmogrified through intense hatred of the president and indulgence in projection into an authoritarian scheme justifying extraordinary measures. So they don't, even if it's a landslide, electoral and popular vote victory, which is the popular vote is irrelevant in our election, they still are going to say, no, this is not true. They're gonna lose their minds. You're gonna hear a lot of people screaming in cars, but you're also gonna see a lot of shit burning. It's unsurprising then that groups like Shut Down DC plan demonstrations beginning on Election Day. It proposes an initial occupation of Black Lives Matter Square in Washington on the evening of the election, November 3rd. Shut Down DC plans multiple disruption operations from November 4th through 7th, aimed at preventing the Trump campaign from declaring an election day victory. From November 8th through 11th, the focus shifts to Capitol Hill as Congress is expected to return from the lame duck session. The days and weeks leading up to the election are crucial too. In an October 8th update on planning operations, Shut Down DC offered a timeline urging affinity groups to begin scouting targets and scouting targets and making preparations beginning this week. Local, state, and federal law enforcement tasked with responding to upcoming unrest should be particularly aware of individuals conducting surveillance and reconnaissance of likely targets within the next 7 to 14 days. The project has been soliciting and recruiting affinity groups seeking to participate. The online registration form coyly warns participants not to include any incriminating information about their plans. I do have a feeling, just a small feeling, that perhaps the Federal Bureau of Investigation may be onto this and know that that's something that could be. I'm just saying, but still. Thank you, Donatello Nobody, for the 357, who says, a friendly reminder from the law offices of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, it's still illegal to riot. Yes, it is, and I have no bell because whatever is going on with my Streamlabs here. But at least I'm streaming, right? At least I'm streaming. All right. Ding. As recently as last year, Shutdown's DC's directors were Liz Butler and Patrick Young, both veteran professional organizers with decades of experience between them. As environmental activist groups, Friends of the Earth's vice president of organizing the strategic alliances, holy shit, that's a mouthful, Butler played a role in Inauguration Day protests against George W. Bush in 2001. She also assisted in organizing IMF protests a year later, leading to over 600 arrests as protesters targeted multiple locations throughout the city and threw rocks and smoke bombs at police. Aren't they special? Washington, D.C. was subsequently sued for its aggressive, though largely effective, crowd dispersal tactics in a long-running case that was finally settled in 2016. Shutdown DC's other director, Patrick Young, markets himself as a professional direct action organizer for hire, offering training, action support, strategic research, and digital campaign support. After a stint at the Service Employees International Union, America's second largest labor union, Young is currently employed by the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. On his LinkedIn page, he touts his volunteer experience with the Continental Collective of Rising Tide North America, an environmental direct action group. Did these, well, except for the unions, they just sound like communist groups by their names. On his website, Young writes about where and how election chaos will play out. He ends the piece by warning this: those of us committed to seeing Donald Trump removed from office should start organizing now to fight back against the Trump administration's systematic efforts at voter suppression. There's that word. Yeah. Oh, it's just insidious. Hit the streets in key states where election outcomes are likely to be contested, and be ready to take bold, direct action. We all know what bold, direct action means. To bring Washington, D.C. to a standstill if Trump refuses to concede. Notice there's no scenario if Trump wins. Why would you concede if you win? You only concede if you lose. The language is identical to that which appears in Shutdown DC's timeline to a meltdown. Where's our girls? Oh, they're there somewhere. Highlighting the perceived need to take to the streets in response to an apparent Trump victory on election night. It is not clear whether Young or his group envisioned any scenario in which President Trump is reelected fairly, or whether such a victory would influence his commitment to seeing him removed from office. No, they're gonna ramp it up. I'm just saying. Hello, Dharma Poozle. Meanwhile, the group boasts of an October 20th training session by veteran anarchist organizer Lisa Fithian. She previously played a role with Disrupt J20, the effort to interrupt the Trump Inauguration Day ceremony, and became infamous for her roles in the 2008 Republican National Convention, Occupy Wall Street, and the Black Lives Matter protest in Ferguson, Missouri. Shutdown DC document cites another document on the effort to influence the post-election situation entitled Hold the Line, A Guide to Defending Democracy, authored by Hardy Merriman, Ankur Asthana, Mariam Navid, and Kifa Shah. The group built around the guide Hold the Line is advertising a series of 2-day training seminars conducted on Zoom over the course of the next 2 weeks. Hold the Line mirrors Shutdown DC and its timeline and scenarios in some ways, but differs in style and some substance. While Shutdown DC is clearly aimed at bringing hardcore anarchist and Antifa affinity groups into the streets, Hold the Line appears to be aimed at a slightly less radical audience. Unlike the Disruption Project document, it urges its readers to avoid property damage. Unlike most other Antifa and resistance tracks, the document at least pays lip service to the integrity of the voter's choice in the election, conceding the possibility that Trump could win legally and that victory should be accepted. Oh, well, aren't they noble? Hello, L. Wolf. What's up? Yet the authors of Hold the Line, identifying themselves as researchers, organizers, and activists who've seen how people-powered movements have protected freedom and democracy around the world, propose several future scenarios calling for civil resistance, including in the event that Trump attempts to declare victory on election night. The document quotes from the Transition Integrity Project as part of its justification for civil resistance. So anyway, this goes on quite a more. I'm not going to read the rest, but I'll put it in the chat. Basically, they're preparing to create mayhem, and in some cases, whether Trump wins or not. And it's not good. It is a reason, in my mind, to make sure I go out and vote for the candidate I want to vote for, and it's not the candidate they want. I don't want, this is, someone said something, the words treason, it's a direct definition of treason. it's terrorism. It is. It's literally a terrorism playbook. Now, think about the people that are left over from some of those groups back in the day. The what's her name? Dorn and the Weather Underground folks. They engaged in terrorism. And this is a plan to create mayhem in the streets. If it's close, or if there's a reasonable reason to contest the election, they ain't having it. And so I really hope there are people out there in law enforcement who maybe just at least has wind of this. I'm sure they do, but I really worry. So, first of all, hello, Kyra Alexander. And also, happy birthday to Amy in Connecticut. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amy. Happy birthday to you, my dear. Everyone throw a cake in the chat for Amy in Connecticut. It is her birthday today. And I didn't sing it because someone doesn't like it when I sing, although I like it when I sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amy. Happy birthday to you. Wah! I don't have my sound effects because something's going wrong with my Streamlabs. So anyway, all right, I'm going to take a short break here and maybe figure out what the hell's going on with my show. So I'll be back in 1 minute. Hey everybody, it's me, Marty. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I hope you're enjoying the show. The Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you have a moment, take time to share this stream by hitting that little arrow down below or up here if you're on a mobile. And please hit the like button. I know you like it, you're still here and you're still watching. And finally, if you want to support the show, you can do that through your donations and super chats, which are in the description down below. You can do that at Streamlabs link or at PDawgKnight.live. That every little bit helps. And thank you for watching. Now back to the show. All right, I figured it out because the special features I use on my account are I forgot that one of my the credit card expired and I had to get it changed out, and so I haven't changed out the new credit card with the correct date on it. So it said it was billed. I thought it was going like that, but I don't know what happened there. Anyway, so I'll fix that later. Dog is singing. I'm sorry. I know, Sean. I know. I was singing. And Dog, what's happening? Nice to see you. All right. Let's see. What else did I have here today? Okay, we got rid. Okay, I don't want to see her again. It's on that little this wave of Antifa. I found this article really interesting too. Is it going to fit? No, I got to do it this way. Tired, hungry, and poor. Everything Antifa is not. So this is an interesting article about some of the people who get arrested at Antifa protests, and there's an interesting little here. Oh, I see there, Sean. I got you. Tired, hungry, and poor. Everything Antifa is not. Now, there's another article. Where is, I hope I have this one here too. Where's this? Oh, no, let's do this article first. So, this, you know how, for whatever reason, the media just feels like they have to carry buckets and buckets of water for some of these people. Well, this is an AP news story that is embarrassing. And it's almost one of those stories where you go, why are they doing this? Here's the tweet. It says, they've been portrayed by the president as violent left-wing radicals and used to scare suburban voters. But An AP review found most of those arrested in U.S. protests look like regular citizens caught up in the moment. Many are young suburban adults. Are you ready to throw up a little bit in your mouth? AP finds most arrested in protests aren't leftist radicals. President Trump portrays hundreds of people arrested nationwide in protests against racial injustice. You know, when they start the sentence like that and you think about what's happening, and it's, you know, once you start burning shit down and trying to hurt people, it's no longer a protest for racial injustice. But I digress. Portrays them as violent urban left-wing radicals, but an Associated Press review of thousands of pages of court documents tells a different story. Very few of those charged appear to be affiliated with highly organized extremist groups, and many are young suburban adults from the very neighborhoods Trump vows to protect from violence in his re-election push to win support from the suburbs. Oh, you don't think that someone's kid from the suburbs could be a part of these groups that are breaking shit? Very few of those charged appear to be affiliated. Oh, I already said that. Attorney General William Barr has urged his prosecutors to bring federal charges on protesters who cause violence and has suggested that rarely used sedition charges could apply. And the Department of Justice has pushed for detention even as prisons across the U.S. were releasing high-risk inmates because of COVID. Well, maybe they shouldn't be doing that. And prosecutors have been told to consider the risk of incarceration in the middle of a pandemic when seeking detention. Defense attorneys and civil rights activists are questioning why the Department of Justice has taken on cases to begin with, because you assholes are fucking shit up. That's not what it says there, but that's my answer. They say most belong in state court where prosecutors are dropping charges because they're also left-wing lunatics. That doesn't say that here either, but I'll continue. Where defendants typically get much lighter sentences. And they argue federal authorities appear to be cracking down on protesters in an effort to stymie demonstrations. Remember I said, try to hold your lunch in? I said that. I didn't say exactly that. No, federal authorities aren't cracking down on protesters in an effort to stymie demonstrations. The federal authorities didn't do anything until you started attacking federal buildings. It's local police who've been doing most of the work. And they're cracking down on protesters who happen to be trying to break shit and burn shit down. They don't care about the protesters who are just having a demonstration. Okay? Thank you, Dharma Puzzle, with a $2.13 donation with no message, but that is very kind of you. Very, very much appreciated. This is an AP article. They're holding water for them. It is highly unusual and without precedent in recent American history, said Ron Kuby, a longtime attorney who isn't involved in the cases. Well, then shut the fuck up. But has represented scores of clients over the years in protest-related incidents. Oh, they're just protest-related incidents. Almost all of the conduct that's being charged is conduct that, when it occurs, is prosecuted at the state and local level, unless you attack a federal building or a federal officer. And one thing they did in Seattle was the United States Marshal Service deputized many of the sheriffs who then became federal officers. So now you're playing with the feds because the local governments and the Mike Schmitz of the world, I wish I had are not prosecuting the assholes who are breaking shit. Hello to David McDowell. How are you doing? Welcome to the show. So he's okay. So almost of the conduct that is being charged as conduct when it occurs is prosecuted at the state and local level. Yeah. In one case in Utah, where a police car was burned, federal prosecutors had to defend why they were bringing arson charges in federal court. They said it was appropriate because the patrol car was being used in interstate commerce. Okay, it's a little creative. Not to say there hasn't been violence. Oh, really? Oh my God. This article is insane. Not to say that there hasn't been violence. Other police cars have been set on fire. Officers have been injured and blinded. Windows have been smashed. Stores looted. Business destroyed. We're coming close to $2 billion now. Good morning, not provided. And Kessler. Of more than 300 arrested, there were about 286 defendants. Others had charges dropped. Some live Some live in cities like Portland and Seattle. Oh, just quaint, quiet little towns where local prosecutors declined to bring some protest-related charges. Right. They're playing catch and release, and they, what do? They drop all the charges. Duh. Some of those facing charges undoubtedly share far left and anti-government views. Oh, you think? But far-right protesters also have been arrested and charged. What's the ratio? 1 to 1,000? That are they even there? Or charges for what? Fighting in the street? God, you assholes. Some defendants have driven to protest from out of state. Okay, and some have criminal records. Oh, I thought they were all good boys. And were illegally carrying weapons. Oh, I see where they went there. Others are accused of using the protest as an opportunity to steal or create havoc. You think? But many have no previous run-ins with the law and no apparent ties to Antifa, the umbrella term for leftist militant groups that Trump has said he wants to declare a terrorist organization. If I had my bell, ding. Even though most of the demonstrations have been peaceful. Oh, I heard it's 97%, isn't it? 97% of the protests have been peaceful. 97% of 2,000 to 5,000 protests. That means let's say there's 5,000 protests and 7%. That's 70 times 5 is 3,500. Is that right? 3,500? Yeah, or no, 350. 350 violent incidents is a lot. Holy shit. Okay, I'm going to try to read this and not throw up. Even though most of the demonstrations have been peaceful, Trump has made law and order a major part of his re-election campaign, casting the protests as lawless and violent in mostly Democratic cities he says have done nothing to stymie the mayhem. Hey, he's right. If the cities refuse to properly clamp down, he says, the federal government has to step in. Right. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left, and I know how violent they are and how vicious they are, and I know they are burning down cities run by Democrats, Trump said at an NBC town hall. Correct. In dozens of cases, the government has pushed to keep protesters behind bars while they await their trials amid the COVID pandemic. In the middle of a pandemic! If you're new here, that's one of my catchphrases I like to use because every article has something about in the middle of a pandemic. You can't wash your car in the middle of a pandemic. Now they had to work this in. I'm going to read the whole paragraph again. Holy shit. In dozens of cases, the government has pushed to keep the protesters behind bars while they await their trials amid the COVID-19 pandemic, which has killed more than 220,000 people across the U.S. There have been more than 16,000 positive cases in the federal prison system, according to a tracker compiled by the AP and the Marshall Project. I'm just curious. I'd really like to know, in those 16,000 positive cases in the federal prison system, are they dying at approximately the same rate as most people? And are there, which is less than 1% unless you're over 70? Just curious, are they, who knows? I have no idea. I'd like to, and I'm genuinely curious about that. Because they've been letting people out of prisons and jails all around the country. But the people who have had positive cases in those prisons, are they elderly? Do they have coexisting, what are they called? Comorbidities? Are any of them died? No, yeah, have 16,000 died. No, 16,000 positive cases, that doesn't mean anything to me. How many hospitalizations out of those 16,000 cases? How many have died out of those 16,000 cases? Cases mean nothing to me anymore because we're testing everybody. We're testing tons of people. We've had over 100 million tests throughout the United States. So, yeah, you're going to find cases. Now, are they in hospitals? Are they dying or are they dead? That's the only, and relative to the number of cases is all I care about. In some cases, prosecutors have gone so far as appealing judges' orders to release defendants. Pretrial detention generally is reserved only for people who are clearly dangerous to the community or risk of fleeing. I don't know, someone who comes over and tries to burn down your business and gets caught, I would say that person is a danger to the community. If they are, in Texas, Magistrate Judge Andrew Austin repeatedly challenged the prosecutor to explain why Cyril Lardig, who authorities say was caught on camera making a Molotov cocktail, should be behind bars while he awaits his trial. Lardig of Cedar Park described his actions that night as a flash of stupidity, prosecutors said. Yeah, you know why he said it was a flash of stupidity? Because his lawyers told him to say that. That's what he was told to say. What do you think, you morons? Okay, so anyway, you get the gist of this, right? You get the gist of how the AP tries to make this so... These are just some suburban people who made a mistake for the first time when they threw a Molotov cocktail into the police car that had an officer still inside. It was just a momentary lapse of judgment, right? And these poor, well, again, they say it's suburbs, kid. Well, here's the article that from the American Thinker that I found was a good companion to this article. Tired, hungry, and poor, everything Antifa is not. On October 6th, some Antifa sock puppet addressed the Portland City Council. Somewhere near the beginning of his insipid rant, he claims, now this is what they think. I represent a mass of humanity. We're tired, hungry, poor, and huddling. My initial response to this claim was a weird combination of indifference and shock. Indifference at its vapidity and shock at the possibility that this guy actually believes this all about himself. Be that as it may, I'll try to unpack it. Are you tired because you spent the night awake playing Call of Duty? Are you hungry because mom hasn't yet made her weekly run to Whole Foods? Are you poor because you have no concept of what that word means in the poorest 20% of U.S. households, which I doubt you're a part of, still consume more than the average, the overall average in Canada and Sweden? Are you huddling more than the overall? Are you huddling because the police crammed too many of you in the back of a transport van? Here's a brief cross-section of the tired, hungry, poor, and huddling foot soldiery of the radical left. Clara Kraber, who attends prestigious Rice University, was arrested for felony rioting in New York City. Police found dozens of handwritten notes of hers outlining revolutionary strategy inspired by Joseph Stalin. Oh, well done, girl. Well done. Crabler's mother is an architect and her father is a professor, and they own a $1.8 million apartment on the Upper East Side. They also own a mansion in Connecticut. Oh, that poor child just having to live in squalor. By the way, I do have my cup of reparations coffee on hand, and we'll just do the sip now. Grab your drink and take a swallow. Ah, very nice. Okay, back to the show. Frank Fearmeister. Now that's Fearmeister. That sounds a little German brown shirty, doesn't it? Frank Fearmeister. Interesting. Who studied fine arts and photography at Florida State College, was arrested for felony rioting in New York. He lives in Stuyvesant Heights. I don't know if I say that right, and is a freelance art director who does work for corporations, assumedly fascist, such as Pepsi and Samsung. His Instagram account specifies that his pronouns are he and him, for clarification for which I am legitimately grateful. No, that's not a JLP mug. That's a PDawgKnight mug. Here, see? PDawgKnight. That'd be me. That's my avatar. Do I look like JLP? Oh, good Lord. I never even thought of that. My mug does. Anyway. Elliot Rucka of Portland was arrested for felony writing in New York City. His parents are accomplished comic book writers who have worked for DC Comics, Marvel Comics, ABC, and Netflix. Oh, these are my favorites right here. Colin Ford Mattis and Yaruj Rahman, both attorneys, were arrested for firebombing a police car. Mattis attended private St. Andrews boarding school before attending Princeton University and then the New York University School of Law. He worked as an associate for Pryor Cashman LLC, for whom associates earn over six figures. Rahman graduated from Fordham University and worked as a human rights lawyer in Greece. Oh my goodness, world traveler, and protested in Israel against Israel before returning to New York. Rational people understand that committing arson to further a political end is the very definition of terrorism, yet NPR calls them, quote, I got to get my NPR voice out, excuse me, calls them, quote, idealistic attorneys hoping to change the world. Louis Malkovich, a software engineer who grew up in southern France and then Cambridge, Massachusetts, was arrested while riding in Portland. His father is the actor John Malkovich, whose income no doubt left little Louis the very Dickinson image of tired, hungry, poor, and huddling. Yes, Louis Malkovich. Linwood Kane, who attended the elite private Carlton College in Minnesota. Oh my gosh, that's 30 miles from here. Carlton College in Minnesota and majored, and that's a very, very Tony pricey school. In fact, I think it's the most expensive university in Minnesota, if I can remember. Who attended the elite private Carlton College in Minnesota and majored in cinema and media studies. Oh, remember what I said about your majors ending in studies? Remember? If your major ends in studies, you might want to start studying menus. He was arrested for rioting and resisting police in Minneapolis. Young Linwood's father is Senator Tim Kaine. You know, what's her face's running mate? Who told Morning Joe that the left needs to fight in the streets against the Trump administration. The rotten apple does not fall far from the tree. These people aren't fighting the man. These people are the man. They are the sneering, elitist, hypocritical, tyrannical man. Or more accurately, the man-child. They are, in the words of Bruce Willis, just a bunch of dumb kids playing revolutionaries and who, in the words of Bruce Bauer, like to play Robin Hood with other people's properties. Oh, look at the beautiful people, these lovely, whatever the hell those are. Oh, I've got this thing all skewed. There, now take a look at these fuckers. Aren't they lovely? Just revolution bound. Aren't they lovely? Ugly as my bloodhound. I wish I didn't have to see these ugly faces in front of me. Aren't they lovely? Made from shit. I thought I'd just rewrite little Stevie Wonder there for you, just for your listening pleasure. Okay. Here are mugshots from the mostly peaceful riots in Portland. Besides a suspicious lack of diversity, yeah, they're all white people. White. Other than the cotton candy machine exploded hairstyles, one can't help but notice the absence of any form of economic impoverishment among the comrades. But if their arrest signaled their dedication to the overthrow of an unjust system, they should start by examining their own cases. Multnomah District Attorney Mike Schmidt, a Soros product, who described our justice system as having been built on white supremacist culture, nonetheless perpetuated that culture by dropping the charges against hundreds of mostly white rioters in Portland. Yeah, you know, the that is kind of hilarious, isn't it? Our justice system having built on white supremacists. Well, then how about we keep the white kids in jail that break shit, huh? You can drop the charges against the black people and just keep all the white people then. Fine. Oh, no, you're dropping the charges because all these white kids have rich parents that, you know how it works. Fuckers. Yes, you're correct there, Selected Boy. Who said that? Lord Stanhope. Good morning, by the way. Yes, UPS are the only good brown shirts. Right on. Okay. So where does Antifa thrive? In rich, segregated, progressive cities. The average household income in the United States is $68,400 per household. The average household income of an Antifa-friendly city all exceed this number, $73,0797. In Portland, $73,231 in Minneapolis, $78,612 in Seattle, $95,843 in Washington, D.C., $96,677 in San Francisco, and 123,710 in Manhattan's Upper East Side. Where does Antifa arrive stillborn? In the provincial backwaters of flyover America, where our fellow citizens actually are tired, hungry, poor, and huddling. The average household income is $54,322 in Arkansas. Anyway, I don't care about these. The phenomenon of upper crust elites attempting to orchestrate revolution on behalf of the downtrodden is nothing new, and neither are the bloody results. The French and Russian revolutions were spearheaded by the rich and powerful who, all rhetorical subterfuge aside, were mostly upset that there were people richer and more powerful than they. Oh, I need a bell for that one. Both Ho Chi Minh and Pol Pot were educated and radicalized in Paris before returning to their homelands to liberate, quote unquote, the proletariat. Fidel Castro was the son of a wealthy farmer and a law student, and his deputy, Che Guevara, was a medical student. Or to paraphrase NPR, oops, sorry, I gotta get my NPR voice out here. Hang on. Or to paraphrase NPR, they were idealistic students hoping to change the world. This pattern crosses ideological lines. Osama bin Laden was the son of a billionaire construction magnate. His deputies, Ayman al-Zawahiri and Mohammed Atef, were a surgeon and an agricultural engineer, respectively. And 9/11 hijacker Mohammed Atta was an engineering student at Hamburg University in Germany. ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi earned a PhD from the University of Baghdad. Or to paraphrase NPR, they were idealistic doctrinaires hoping to change the world. Many of their fighters are not impoverished locals, but outsiders who flew in from rich Western cities to earn their street cred. And then, when things got a little too dicey for the first world comfort, hightailed it back to the same bedroom they've slept in since kindergarten. Sound familiar? So it seems that whatever excuses Antifa thugs tell themselves to justify their animalistic behavior, poverty cannot be one of them. Books will be written as to their underlying motivations: arrogance, narcissism, envy, nihilism, projection, boredom, sociopathy, etc. But honest self-reflection won't be one of them, because such a virtue would lead them to acknowledge that there are more black people in the Ku Klux Klan than there are tired, hungry, poor, and huddling in Antifa. So that's a great article. I'm going to put that one in the chat too if you want to read that for yourself later. Again, just because the pictures alone are worth the subscription. All right, let's see, where are we at? 10:10. Oh, I am on track today. That's pretty good. All right, just a little housekeeping news. Think of the country of Romania. Okay, Romania. Are you familiar with Romania? Because we've been hearing a lot about Ukraine, and we've been hearing a lot about China, as the president says, China. But Mark Meadows, the White House Chief of Staff, says that we might be hearing about Romania soon too. Now, think about this. Think about the places that we know so far that Vice President Biden was a special envoy for the Obama administration. So far, we know that he was a special envoy for Ukraine and China, and those seem to be the places where a certain young relative of his, well, not so young, but younger than Biden, obviously, seems to have hit it big in business in those two places. Well, apparently, there's a third place that Joe Biden might have been a special envoy to on behalf of the Obama administration. And that would be Romania. And so now, apparently, we might have to figure out, yes, vodka and bad vampires. Perfect. Yes, Advocatus Diaboli. Good morning, by the way, if I haven't said hello yet. But apparently, there's been a little bit of money flow from Romania to the Biden family. And so we're going to probably hear about that in the next few days. Hunter Biden's overseas business interest extended to Romania as well as China and Ukraine, and Americans can expect to learn more in days to come, White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows suggested on Fox Business Network's The Evening Edit Monday. Wall Street Journal is expected to publish a report this week on Hunter Biden's dealings, but it was not immediately clear if that was what Meadows was referring to. I find it fascinating that some of the monies appear to be flowing to the Biden family broadly come from Romania, from Ukraine, and from China, the three countries that Joe Biden was special envoy to as vice president, Meadows told Elizabeth McDonald. The chief of staff added that Joe Biden, now the Democratic nominee for president, is going to have a lot of explaining to do. The elder Biden has repeatedly denied discussing Hunter's overseas business interests with his son. They never talked about it at all. They never, ever talked about his business dealings at all. I promise they never talked about it. Yeah. Thank you, Gamer Valide, the $4.99 through YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much. Hold up. She says, Romania was still coming out of the Cold War in 2016. That's where all the money went? Well, I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. Hi, Scotty Dubs. Hi, Hypnagogic Monk. I think that's okay. I'm caught up there. So the comparison is very troubling. Meadows went on, so it's not surprising the Biden campaigns would say, we're not going to talk to the press. So I guess we're going to find out. Now, I haven't seen any of the breaking news up to date. By the way, thank you again, Gamer Valine, for that very nice, generous super chat. Appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Other house cleaning items. Let's see. What's this one? Oh, I can't. This one is... I might come back to that one. Hang on. Oh, by the way, I forgot this bombshell. This is holy shit. This one might be absolutely a huge problem for the president, because the TDBS, the Daily Trump bombshell from yesterday. This one has me nervous. I'm seriously devastated by this one. Reported by The Hill. Trump ordered mults during a classified intelligence briefing, according to a report. What the hell was he thinking? Trump ordered mults during a classified intelligence briefing? What? Whew. I don't know if any reporters asked him what flavor, but anyway, this from The Hill. Trump ordered mults during a classified intelligence briefing, according to a report. Good God, what is wrong with this man? President Trump once ordered mults during a highly classified briefing on Afghanistan in an incident that has become a legend within the CIA, according to a report by Politico. It makes me ashamed of my country. Just a few months after he took office, Trump reportedly insisted to a room of senior defense and intelligence officials that they must try the malt at his New Jersey golf club while they discuss classified intelligence. Does anyone want a malt, he asked in a meeting, according to 3 former CIA officials who recounted the events to Politico? We have the best malts. You have to try them. 3 CIA agents have confirmed this report, by the way. 3 CIA agents have confirmed this report. Malts. Insiders say the incident illustrated to them Trump's apparent disinterest in intelligence briefings. Politico reports that some also view it as an insight into the start of Trump using intelligence information as a weapon in partisan battles. Yes, malts are how, because he ordered malts, we know. It's so obvious. When you order malts, of course you're using intelligence information as a weapon in partisan battles. Now, if they were just shakes, I might be okay with this, but malts, if I had my Greta sound effect, I'd be saying, how dare you? Malts! God, what is wrong with that man? It's been reported that intelligence officials have had to carefully relay sensitive information to Trump in the past, but he fucker ordered malts. How can you even trust him? The president reportedly prefers an oral report for his daily briefing rather than a written report, and former advisors have revealed they intentionally buried Russian news out of fear it would anger Trump. Well, God, what if your boss ordered malts? Wouldn't you be a little wary of telling him anything that might upset him? I mean, who the hell? Oh, this is so disappointing. Thank you, Gamer Valid, for the super chat. big X to doubt, we know Trump is a Diet Coke guy. 3 CIA officials have confirmed the report, Gabriel Verleen. Get with the program, woman. And thank you for the $1.99. I appreciate that. The president has created an environment that dissuades, if not prohibits, the mentioning of any intelligence that isn't favorable to Russia. A former senior national security staffer said in July. Okay, wait a minute. Hill, okay, hang on a second. I got a problem. There's a problem here. There is a problem. If this staffer said this in July, why are you reporting this on October 21st, 2020? Don't you think the American people have a right to know that, first of all, the president is ordering malts? Oh, wait a minute. Okay, okay. The president has created an environment that dissuades, if not prohibits, the mentioning of any intelligence that isn't favorable to Russia, a former senior national security staffer said in July. Intelligence officials told Politico they believe if Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden wins this fall, he will have to heal a damaged relationship between the White House and the intelligence community because he's a 47-year participant in the swamp with these assholes. But Trump did order milkshake. He did order malts, though. I'm torn. I'm actually torn now. They continue. There's no question that Biden and his team will have an urgent task in restoring faith, trust, and competence and morale in the intelligence community. Former NSA General Counsel Glenn Gerstal told Politico. Former NSA General Counsel Glenn Gerstal? I wonder if there's a reason he's former NSA General Counsel Glenn Gerstal. It's going to be a huge effort. Well, I think if Biden wins, he's going to fit right in with the swamp creatures because he's been part of it for 47 years. But God, dog, malts, what is wrong with this man? He's lost his freaking mind. He's just trying to lose. I'm telling you. He's just trying to lose. He's trying to lose. I guarantee it. It's sad. Sad, I tell you. Sad. It's just sad. Unbelievable. Thank you, Becca Fairley, for tweeting out the show. I know. Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah. Purple Pill's perspective. I got to tell you, you are so right. Malts in the middle of a pandemic? What is wrong with that man? Holy shit. Okay. Yes, and there's the. Oh yeah, I forgot. I went before the alert, but in the middle of a pandemic, man, this motherfucker's ordering malts for the people in the meeting. What an awful human being. At least when Joe Biden the other day, they stopped the campaign. They were heading their way home before they put the lid on the campaign for the rest of the 5 days that they're going to be out of commission right before the election. Remember when they had the little clip of him going? They went to the ice cream place, and Joe Biden went and got shakes. He had the decency to get shakes, not malts. And of course, the press was there to ask him the very pressing questions of the day, forget his son and forget foreign policy being taken off the debate topics, which I haven't talked about that yet. They talked taking foreign policy out of the debate for tomorrow, right? No, they asked him the more important question, and I was sincerely wondering this myself. Mr. Vice President, what flavor of shakes did you get? And it got a black and white because the ink is black, the page is white. Together we learn to read and write. The child is black, the child is white. Okay, I'm not going to sing that one anymore. That was a great song. I don't even remember who sang that, but it was a really uplifting song from the 70s when I was a kid, and we really liked that song. Anyway. All right, we're running out of time here. Speaking of which, I have not, when I do this every morning, I the night before I pick out a bunch of articles and little things that we can talk about, and then I check in the morning when I get home, and I check for more articles, and Trump ordered shakes though. I'm shook. I literally am shaking right now about that malt story, though. I think he wants to lose, and I think that might be the nail in the coffin for the president of the United States. Yes, Dawg Knight. Thank you. That's, in fact, how did I not know that? Then my name is a parody of that band's name, and holy shit. Anyway. Dawg Knight sang that song. It's a great song. I didn't get half the article. So let me just finish with this. The other day, this Welker. Let me see if there's any Welker. Well, Elker. Welker, this woman who is doing the debate moderator. Kristen Welker. She's going to be the debate moderator tomorrow. And interesting choice, a woman of color. She's kind of has ambiguous ancestry. I don't know what, but she has melanin, so I'm sure that's part of the reason why the debate commission chose her. And she's a leftist, so it's because that's just how it goes. You have anyway, so Kristen Welker, interesting story here. Shortly after, it says Kristen Welker, the next debate moderator, got busted tipping off Team Hillary in 2016. Here, we'll just look at this. Oh, nope, it's loading an ad, so I'm going to mute the ad. I knew shortly after a scheduled debate moderator and C-SPAN anchor Steve Scully claimed to have been hacked that it was all over for him. Scully, who had been taped by the commission on presidential debates to host the second showdown between President Trump and Joe Biden before its cancellation, was criticized on Twitter by President Trump as being a never-Trumper. Scully, a veteran of it, came... Oh, by the way, well, of course, he interned for Joe Biden 30 years ago. Anyway, before its cancellation, he was criticized on Twitter by President Trump for being a never-Trumper. Scully, a veteran of a cable network beloved by wonks and political geeks alike, could have just asked anyone orbiting the Beltway to advise him what to do. Naturally, what he did was confirm he was a never-Trumper by asking one-time White House communication director and all-around human joke Anthony Scaramucci about how to handle it. Scaramucci, should I respond to Trump? He tweeted in what was apparently intended to be a private message. Scully quickly claimed he was hacked and took his tweets private. As anyone remembers the downfall of Anthony Carlos Danger Wiener can attest, if you make a digital oopsie and need to cover your tracks, saying you've been hacked is the worst possible explanation. And this includes saying you've mixed Vicodin, Klonopin, and 8 shots of Bacardi and had no memory of the tweeting that sucker. This because, unlike claiming you've ingested dangerous cocktails of intoxicants and then decided to take to social media, it doesn't take much forensic work to disprove you were hacked. According to CNN, Scully issued an apology last week saying he'd made errors in judgment. Oh, really? He's currently on administrative leave, meaning he won't be fielding prank calls on Washington Journal, much less moderating any debates. Next up at the plate when it comes to the debate moderators is Kristen Welker, an NBC White House news NBC News White House correspondent. Welker is in charge of questioning during this week's debate, scheduled to begin at 9 p.m. tomorrow night at Belmont University in Nashville. Now, remember Steve Scully, a soporific non-entity for the oatmeal of cable political channels, a man even C-SPAN watchers could probably only identify after they were told he's the one that kind of looks like Lindsey Graham if you squint, turned out to be a biased mess. Although, my personal opinion, a little aside here, my personal opinion is that he probably would have been just fine. If you're watching on C-SPAN, he's very neutral, like he's supposed to be, doesn't really comment on things. He listens to the call-in questions and, whatever. Now, Welker is a reporter for the most left-leaning of the major broadcast networks in an era where, well, that's redundant, where White House correspondents are expected to behave in the combative mold of Jim Acosta. What are the odds she turns out to be less partisan? Nil. Hi, Adam Richard. Probably not great, but she'd prefer you not to know that. Welker, infamous for tipping off Hillary Clinton's spokeswoman on camera about a question she would ask during an interview, briefly deactivated her Twitter account in the wake of Scully's scandal. I would love to see a way back on her Twitter account. Welker, who has over 160,000 followers, decided to deactivate her account on October 9th in the wake of the Scully Mooch debacle, according to Fox News. It was later restored. Deleting the account wouldn't actually have made things much easier for Welker, who, the New York Post points out, has deep Democratic ties. Shocker. She was a registered Democrat in Rhode Island in 2004 and Washington, D.C. in 2012. Neither of these should surprise you, nor should it be a surprise. As the Post reported, her mother, Julie Welker, a prominent real estate broker in Philadelphia, and father, Harvey Welker, a consulting engineer, have donated tens of thousands of dollars to Democratic candidates and close to $20,000 to Barack Obama alone. They've donated, and they've also donated to Joe Biden's campaign this year. Now, granted, she is her own woman. She is not her parents'. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but she's her own woman, and just because they have donated heavily to Democrats in the past, like forever, it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, fuck, who am I kidding? Yes, it means something. However, when it comes to Trump, meanwhile, here are the kind of questions she's asked as a White House correspondent. Quote, Mr. President, yes or no? Have you ever worked for Russia? Yes or no? You get the point? Anyway, meanwhile, here she is talking with Jen Palmieri of Hillary Clinton's campaign during the 2000 Democratic primary process. Now, I kind of have a pseudo explanation for this, but here she is. She doesn't know she's on camera yet. Listen very carefully to what you hear here.
We go right to Kristen Welker. Kristen, go ahead.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you about Flint.
Kristen, go ahead. You're live. Kristen Welker in the spin room. I believe she has the Clinton communications director with her. Go ahead, Kristen.
Okay, thank you. I think this is his last question.
We have Kristen Welker. We're looking at her. She couldn't quite hear me before. Can you hear me now? If you can, go ahead.
Hey, Ari, I'm here with communications.
So notice, she's there. Now, I don't know if this is common where they just tell, we're gonna ask you these questions so you can answer questions on film. But you'd think maybe, okay, so here it is. Go ahead, your live translation. Don't let this interview is less than candid, because you'd think they're just asking them questions, but she's telling her what questions she's going to ask this woman. Got caught on the live feed, right? Oh, she's a fine individual. I agree with you there, Scotty Dubs. She's, all right. But anyway, the incident took place right after a debate between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders in Flint, Michigan in March 2016. It may seem minor in hindsight, but it wasn't at the time. At the time, Senator Sanders was hanging around longer than the Clinton campaign, which was expecting a coronation, had anticipated. The debate in Flint was meant to highlight the water crisis in the city and underscore key differences in the candidates' messages. Clinton's positioning was a realist who could get things done in Washington. Against Sanders' rhetoric on economic inequality, Sanders would eventually take the state, and the win would become one of the first signs the insurgent candidacy was going to be more nettlesome than originally predicted. The fact that Welker was going along to get along with Clinton's people was unsurprising, even though it should have been disqualifying. The same spirit was also in evidence during the 2016 debates, which might have been part of the reason why Welker did want her Twitter account up. Oh, they do have some history of her account here. I like all skin colors. Yes, so do I, Scotty Dubs. Yeah, that's good. She's fine. She's fine. She's a good-looking lady. Anyway, here, let's see. So her tweet, Hillary Clinton calls Donald Trump's refusal to say he will accept the results horrifying. Oh, that's not from long ago. That is not the way our democracy works. Oh, so this is going to be interesting. When Donald Trump is asked if he will accept the results of an election, he says, I'll look at it at the time. Oh, because the results of the election could never be compromised, right? Did you ever ask Hillary Clinton if she accepts the results of the 2016 election yet? I doubt it. Here's another one. Audience laughs when Donald Trump says nobody respects women more than I do. And Donald Trump thinks that belittling women makes him bigger. That's okay. Hillary Clinton said that. Anyone who's ever dealt with Welker knows she's an activist, not a reporter. The White House press team views her the same way as they would AOC or Pelosi if they walked in the office, the New York Post quoted a senior White House official saying. According to the Washington Examiner, NBC has pointed to Trump campaign advisor Jason Miller, saying Welker is very fair in her approach and a good choice for the third debate. That sounds like a pro forma statement. However, the president doesn't concur. She's always been terrible and unfair. And just like most of the fake news reporters, but I'll still play the game. People know. How's Steve Scully doing? Anyway, given the tenor of recent debates, anyone short of Cincinnatus as a moderator would likely raise some eyebrows. After Chris Wallace's disastrous outing during the first exchange, we had Lafayette Scully, and we've had dueling town halls where NBC's Savannah Guthrie was apparently under the impression that moderator and prosecutor were synonyms while Joe Biden was given questions only slightly more difficult than his favorite movie was, or that bowl of pudding that he squished through his teeth before he swallowed it. Anyway, welcome to the world of presidential debates a la 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, before you even think of looking away from this stream, please hit the like button if you haven't done so already, because it just helps. I don't know why it helps, but it just, if anything, it helps my ego. And, I don't have much of an ego. And so it always helps to help me raise my confidence level in life. So thank you so much for being here today at the Morning Night Live. As you know, I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 DMT. That's going to change though. When's daylight savings time, that thing when you change the clocks? Isn't that coming up in a couple weeks? I always hate that. It's usually right before Halloween. Is it this weekend where we lose? Let's see, fall back. So I go, no, in the fall, you get an extra hour because you change from 6 to 5 and you get to have that 5 to 6 hour again. Or is that wrong? Or did I lose an hour? I don't know, but the clocks change. I'm going to have to change this and figure out what GMT is, but we're going to do whatever we can. Hit the like button. And if you're watching on replay, put a comment down there in the comment section. And if you want to do donations to the show, like Purple Pill Perspective, Gamer Valine, Dharma Puzzle, and Donatella Nobody, and Gunfox 61, and Black Hebrew Israelite, thanks to all of you to doing that today. You can always do that through Super Chats, through Streamlabs, or the Cashapp and or Venmo links, which are in the description down below. Tomorrow, just a programming note, I'm going to be doing my show on the normal hour, and then I'm also going to be joining Scribe Light. We're going to do a TED Talk analysis in the afternoon. I'll link to that probably through Twitter and the other things up there, those places. So look forward to that also, and I'll remind you tomorrow. Also, if Gunfox, you're still here, you want to throw the Discord link in the chat one more time until I can fix my bot and make sure it works again. Anyway, that's it for today, people. I gotta go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.